Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning and good evening. Now we can say that for this Q&A. Welcome to the South Texas International Film Festival International Feature Film Question and Answer Q&A. I'll introduce the filmmakers in a bit. My name is Pepe Garcia. I am the chair of the festival and the director of programming for the festival as well. Thank you for joining us in this last screening that we had. Hopefully, you were able to tune in on the festival. But for now, we have two production teams from two of the films that we had in competition. From Puglia, we have Sunil and Vinod. And from 12 Months of Kai, we have Mutsumi. And so I'll let them introduce themselves. Let's, if we start with Sunil and Vinod from Puglia, if you don't mind introducing yourselves, please.
Thanks, Pepe. Thanks for the opportunity to connect with you all. So I'll go ahead with my introduction and then I'll let Vinod follow. So I'm Sunil. You'll be surprised to know that I'm a physician by profession, but then I had keen interest in writing. So I happen to be the story writer of Puglia, and Vinod and me we are childhood friends, and that's when we collaborated to go ahead with this project. So that's in a nutshell about me.
Right. Thanks, Pepe, for having us with you guys, and also MacDale and everyone, the jury of STXIFF. So first of all, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Like you said, we are sitting at different part of the globe. So here it is 4:30 in the morning. You guys are at 5, I think 5:30. So well, I'm Vinod Peter. I'm the director of this film Puglia, and Sunil and I are the guys who culminated this. So a small thought of Sunil is something that made us sit with you guys here. So it will be a nice session, I think, for the next few minutes, that whatever we would be talking to each other. Great, thanks.
Thank you. Mutsumi? You're muted. Sorry.
Sorry.
There we go.
Hi, my name is Mutsumi, and I'm a director of 12 Months of Kai. And we shot this film about 3 years ago, before COVID, and actually we had a very tough time for shooting. Then fortunately we filmed completely. Then last year and this year, we the 12 Months of Kai have been selected a lot of film festival. And then I'm so excited your selection. Thank you.
Thank you for sending your movie, both production teams, all three of you. And I think it's very nice to always have films that are so different from the movies that we usually see over here, and it's very refreshing always to see how even there's very particular styles. We've had films from India and from Japan in the past, and it's so they're always going to be different from the films that we do in the United States, of course, or even in America and Latin America. But even all the Indian films and all the Japanese films that we get are wildly different, one from the other, in subject and topics and story and style and aesthetic. So it's very refreshing as a programmer who, I'm not going to say has to, but has the chance or has the opportunity to watch all of these movies. It's very, I'm a very lucky person, and so is the team, to have these movies in here. So to start with the poetics, let's get into the mean of the subject. Let's start by talking a little bit how films came to be, right? How were you sitting at a cafe and then it just popped, or something happened? And how did the conception of the movie start? If you don't mind giving a little preamble of the movie, something quick, a quick log line or what the movie's about really quick, and then just explaining a little bit of how the whole idea started, from maybe the conception of the script, etc. Let's start again with Sunil and Vinod, whoever wants to take the word.
Yeah, Vinod can take that.
Right. Thanks, Sunil. So it started with Sunil coming and meeting me and said, we just had a normal, he came home one day. I mean, he always comes home, but that one fine day he said that when he came home and said, can you make a short film? Something which I never expected from Sunil, because Sunil is a songwriter. And then he said, I have a story, small story. So why don't you hear this and let's do a short film? But the day when I heard it, I liked the story too much. I said, this is not a movie that we can just think in terms of a short subject. We need to explore it further, and then let's make it a big feature film. And the ideas and everything, the concept, the thoughts, everything, like you said, it is refreshing. It actually refreshed my soul. So when something that hits your soul, it adds more energy to the entire content. So that's how the story started. It just was a small thought of Sunil to make it as a short film, and there we are sitting, feature film with almost, I think we won 70 awards till date, 72 precisely.
I think that anything that, especially nowadays, and I don't want to get too gloomy about the subject that we're in right now, but especially nowadays, to come across stories and ideas that are hopeful and are humane, like Puglia clearly is. I think it's obviously a very directorial mind of Juvenon to hear something that someone says and try to make it bigger. Of course, that's something of a filmmaker, right? And surely coming from Sunil's experience of coming up with this proposal, so it had a lot to do. So, Sunil?
Yeah, so basically, I had a small thought about the log line of Puglia. It's a story about two kids and how a pug, but which both of them want, is connected to their life, and that was the short story. And then I wanted to, I went and then shared, and then only the reason that I shared it with Vinod, because I knew that it had some kind of a soul to it, an innocence attached. Because when I wrote that movie, I saw myself as a kid, and I saw myself as a father, and I saw my daughter as the kids playing the role. So it's woven around three generations that I have experienced myself, my father, me as a kid, me as a father, and then my daughter. Like how things change when you want something, and that is what hit me, pull the string of my heart, and that's when I penned it down and I said that this is something that I feel would be close to everyone's heart, and they would love seeing it on the screen. And that's when I made it that I can convey to Vinod, because he was always into films and direction, and that's where it all boiled down into. And then we are here sitting with you with the feature film.
Where did you two meet, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so it used to be always Vinod's place that we used to catch up on. Like we are childhood friends, as Vinod. Vinod and me, we are friends since school time, and we catch up on every second weekend on phone, or we just drop in at each other's house for a cup of tea, and that's when we keep sharing creative ideas. What next we can do? Shall we go ahead with writing a song? And then our friendship goes beyond friendship, and it goes into the creative world. We have collaborated even before this project on a couple of things. We had an album together, way back in 2011, and that's where the meeting point was always Vinod's house, and then that's where the creative ideas used to always come up. And then
it's a tea and creative soulmate time, so pretty much. And so because you have done more projects together before this, right? You were saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so okay, it's pretty cool. Mutsumi, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what the film is about, generally speaking, the genre a little bit? We'll get deeper into that, but which I think is fantastic and very original and authentic. And do you want to tell us a little bit how you thought of the story and the film?
Yeah, and first of all, I wrote a short script for other film, for other short film, but I couldn't get a chance to filming that short film. So yeah, I decided to make a feature film for myself, by myself. Then yeah, I wrote first 4 months is slept, only 4 months. Then I I had audition for main character Kyoka and Kai, and we talk a lot about in this story. Then I didn't decided first. I didn't decided the end of the scene in this film. Then we talk about how live Kyoko and Kai, how live there, and yeah, we have to come up with the end of the scene.
Yeah.
With then we took about 10 months.
Okay.
And we have first shooting, then lighting, probably next 3 months, and shooting shooting 3 months, and lighting, and again shooting. So the reason why we had a COVID.
So from when you first thought of the short film and first start all the way to the final cut, how long do you think it took you to finish the movie?
About 10 or 11 months.
10, 11 months. And
Yes.
again, this was independently produced, right? You did what did you take on? Because I know that you took on a lot and you worked on with a very slim budget, right? A very
Yeah.
short budget. How much did you do personally in the roles of production?
Actually, I'm a Nanda. I'm a director of the film company, film office. So I gather the money with crowdfunding and my payment.
Okay, yeah. I mean, whichever way independent films need them to be, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I want to ask, you talked about the casting and the actors and the actresses. For me, they really conveyed the story, and they helped obviously set the mood. Which for me, one of the things that I enjoy a lot about the movie is how each scenes or each moments of the relationship have very specific moods. Some are very beautiful and romantic, and then some of them are very eerie and a little bit darker. And so creating that whole atmosphere has a lot to do, obviously, with what we see, with the photography, with the lighting, with etc. But how did the actors and actresses if we can talk a little bit, actors and actresses, how did you end up choosing the ones to play the main roles, and how was it working with them? So like, what were the things that you liked about the main characters, the actors and the actresses, with working with them?
Main actors and actresses. One thing, I've checked the Kai's body in audition because he's not a human. Yeah, so I have to check his body. His body has, for example, tattoo or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And so now that we're speaking about actors and actresses, I wanted to ask Sunil and Vinod about working with the actors, and because there's several. I mean, I know this is a question that a lot of people might ask, but working with children, working with kids, how is that? Because that's I haven't ventured to do that myself, but I've heard it's no walk in the park. So how was it working with the children, child actors?
No.
And what advice? I'm sorry. What advice would you give to anyone who would dare to, no, I'm kidding, not dare, but who would venture into working with child actors?
Right. So the first part is like it's really tough to work with kids, and it's tougher to work with animals around. So two challenging things are apart in this story. So either people have kids, they work, it's a children's film, or else it's like completely devoted to thoughts of animals and all. But here the concept was working with two different tough people. Kids, they are very moody. They have their own way of dealing with things. Sometimes they don't like certain things. So, you need to pamper them every time. One. Second, animals. You cannot communicate otherwise, because at least to kids we can say just keep quiet or do this, do that. Animals are just beyond thoughts. You never know what they would come up with, what they are doing. What I mean, though I had two trainers and a doctor there on the set, but still, an animal is an animal. To be honest, it has its own emotions and thoughts and ideas. We cannot think of taking the right shots at the right time. So it's going with the flow, with the way how they behave. So that's where this story connected. It was really challenging, and accepting challenges is something that really excites me. And even to somebody else who would like to work on subjects like these, they should have a word called as patience. You need to have lot of patience to work with people like this. You have, I mean, when the time extends, it bites your pocket big time, because financially you know how tough it is for an independent filmmaker. But still, you need to ensure that everything is set at the right place, the camera positions are there, and then drive these people to walk on the way where your visions are, or your vision is going towards. So that's something which I really enjoyed.
And had you worked with animals or with kids before?
Never.
Never. Well, that
Never.
was pretty good. I mean, it would seem like you had from the end result of the movie, because it looks very effortless the way they I don't know how it felt on set, but on screen it feels like even the animals were enjoying it. I don't know if they were or not, but it seemed very natural and organic, and the relationship with each other and on screen, and the final rendering just comes out very beautifully. And so Neil, when you were writing the story, did this come to mind at any point? I know that that your background isn't necessarily film, correct?
Yeah.
So I know that when we write movies and we're producers and we're directors, we have to switch off. When you're writing, you have to switch off the director and the producer sometimes. Some people do that. Other people write the movies thinking of producing at the same time. So how was it? What freedom did you have when writing the movie? Did you think about anything of, did you consult with Vinod at any point? Hey, is it okay if we have like all these animals and all these kids there, or did you just go with the flow?
Yeah, so firstly, when I wrote the movie, I wrote it as a short film. And when Vinod said that we can take it to the next level, the good part was like me not being into this domain for a longer time. I was more into lyrics and then songs and poems. Vinod and I sat together for a couple of weekends together, because I was working, and then we had to cater to our jobs, and then we used to connect on weekend. And then there I got his vision, his inputs from his perspective. And that time we didn't have like a clue, like how are we going to produce the movies? But he was thinking from a director's perspective. I was thinking from a writer's perspective. But I thank Vinod that he always gave me the liberty to put my thoughts or convey my thoughts the way I want. He never looked at it from a financial perspective or a shooting perspective. Yeah. And that probably helped us write it in a better way. And then, yes, of course, that probably might have led to some challenges to execute it again on the screen. But that was something that I learned on the go. Inputs from Vinod, from his creative perspective, how it should be. He had his thoughts about that. But at the same time, we respected everyone's thoughts, and we blended that together. So that's why I think the product comes out so well, because we didn't encroach on each other's area. We did not kill each other's creativity. Rather, we complemented each other's creativity, shared our experiences, and then brought it out as one single script.
And that's why I think it's so important to have a team that you trust, and a group of people that understand and connect with you. And like you said, exactly how you said it, complement, not stifle, not detain your creative flow, right? So,
Right. Right.
and it comes out on screen, right?
Yes.
And so speaking of challenges, Mutsumi, did you have anything that was particularly challenging when making something that was difficult when making 12 Months of Kai?
Yeah, actually I've directed, I've directed and shoot and
Yeah.
even coordinate the lighting at the same time. So I couldn't focus on the what acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I now I feel I have should focus on their acting more.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, you can still feel. I think when watching 12 Months of Kai, I feel that there's not one thing that probably overwhelms another. They complement. The lighting complements the photography, complements the acting, complements the music and the sound. So,
Yeah.
from my point of view, I think it's a very roundish film, and again, speaking of complementing, so. And I can't imagine how it must have been for you to do all of these different things
Yeah.
at
Thank
the
you.
same time, right? And so hats off to you on that. And I wanted to ask you, Mutsumi, if you wanted to speak a little bit more on
Okay.
the genre, doing science fiction, androids and humans. There's been a few films before that in the subject, but all of them approach it from a very different angle. What was kind of your message that you wanted to convey? Why did you choose science fiction? Why did you choose android human to tell your story?
Firstly, I didn't think I want to make a film about sci-fi. I just want to shoot a human drama, but somehow I have to choose humanoid. Then I looked one article in Chinese technology survey. Then there are I forgot the exact number, but there are lots of single men who can't get married. So maybe we have a similar program in Japan. Yeah, even women. Yeah. So yeah, I have to I wanted to try this issue.
So it's maybe not something that's too far away from our future, maybe, and you decided to get that to create the if I'm understanding this in a certain way, the aesthetic of the film is around that idea that you just mentioned about single men and women not being able to get married or find a partner, but the center of it is still a drama of a relationship drama, and around it is the whole idea of the android. Or so for me, again, I think it fits very well, and it complements all around. I think we're nearing well, we still have a few minutes here. I guess we can what I wanted to ask you, if there's for Puglia, I know we spoke a little bit, and I don't know if you want to share with the audience a little bit of what we were talking before we came on, Vinod and Sunil. And I find a comment from one of the audiences a little relevant to that. If you don't mind me reading it really quick, it's from Max Rojas. He's a local filmmaker who also had some films in the festival at the time. He says, "It is nothing less than gracious to see more than what another culture thinks, but to see their artistic expression of what they feel, their philosophy, and their emotional drive is a beautiful gift to be given. I thank the filmmakers for their hard work and bravery to display their work in a place that can be thought of as so different. I hope they find our appreciation proof that we all share worldwide experiences only on other canvases with different paints or colors. Again, thank you. Thank you, Max. Again, he's a fantastic filmmaker and a great producer here from the Valley, from over here. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but we were talking with Sunil Vinod about how they were so keen on being faithful to the dialects in Puglia, and how each region had a very specific one. So for me, that weighs on a little bit of what Max, the commenter, was saying on how Mutsumi, Sunil, Vinod are able to put on screen part of their culture in one way or in another. So if you want to comment a little bit on that, on your movie and the cultural parts maybe that reflect in the movie. Sunil Vinod first, and then we'll go to Mutsumi.
Okay. How can I say?
Well, if you want, we can go with Sunil and Vinod first, and then we'll go with you, Mutsumi.
Yeah, Vinod can take that.
Go ahead.
So, like we said earlier, when the subject was discussed, we were keen of getting not just one single thread or a line of a common dialect that should happen, because for you guys it will be just going through the subtitles, but for the people of this particular country, they know, or probably the state that we are in, Maharashtra state, they would know that there's a difference in terms of dialogues, the way how they speak, the pronunciation part of it, the grammatical part of it. It should differ according to different areas, and like Sunil said, every 15 miles the style changes, the way how they communicate. Even there's a kind of a tune, in the way how they speak. So we are very, very, very particular about it. And that's where once we wrote the script, once we wrote everything, we ensured that we get somebody who is a master in terms of dialects. And we got an expert who did a fantastic job. So that's how it helped in the progression of the script also. And also ensuring that we get this guy on board to train our actors to speak the way how the script requires. So that's the success part of it. That's what I believe. Apart from the getting cinematography, and obviously this adds a lot of value. But when the content it is obviously this dialect also plays a lot of importance. So Sunil.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But then over and above, what we always felt that even if we are sticking to the regional language, we are sticking to the dialect, we always had that deep-rooted belief in the content that human emotions are universally the same. So irrespective of what the dialect is, irrespective of what the content is, we always valued human emotions. And then no matter which part of the world you go, emotions stay the same. And then that's what we felt, that the heart of the story is the emotions that are emoted on the screen. And that's what gave us the motivation to go ahead and pursue this dream turned into a reality. So that's where we always felt that, though it's like think locally, but visualize it globally. So that's what we always believed it. And then that's what we pursued it and made it into a feature film.
I think it reflects on the film in the end. I think the word you mentioned, universal, is key to get the audience to connect to these very human emotions, and the story itself, the preamble by itself already lends itself to being something that we can connect with, because it's very human, it's very innocent, it's very childish in the sense that we were all children, right? So those very basic, pure and human emotions are there, and they reflect through the different stages. Sunil, you were mentioning like your generations, right? So
yeah,
so that connection to reflect that during different moments of the stage of a person, right? Young age all the way to old age, to put that and plaster it and put your culture into these different stages, right? Because it's one thing to surround the context of a culture on a one character and their experience as an adult, right? As a child, as an older person, right? So capturing that, I think, was one of the great things that Puglia does in that sense.
Thank you.
And so if I may, Mutsumi, I know that we talked about how a lot of the idea came from what we were talking about, the single men and women and all of that. And also, I was reading on one of the articles about the film that you also spoke of the vulnerability of change, or how we're as humans we're going to change, and so maybe this has something to do with the topic of because there's more and more single men and women, relationships change, and the way we interact with humans might change, and now there's the necessity of androids in the future. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Okay. Even we have now we have also metaverse. Then actually it's not a humanoid, but physical. Yeah, they haven't physical body, but yeah, young Japanese people have different way or different perspective of human relationships. So we have to think more about the relationship between different people. Yeah, and yeah, but in this film, I wanted to think about human. Yeah, I mean, humanoid reflects reflects us. So what we want to do or what we want to go. Yeah, I wanted to I wanted to combine this this wandering or this, yeah, the thinking in this picture, no, in this film.
Yeah, no, and it's like you said, it's not necessarily that the whole aesthetic of the movie is a Blade Runner or is merely scientific, but it is futuristic in the sense that it has a perspective on the future, and I think it's very accurate because of what you are saying, right? That younger generations might have a different approach to relationships, right? The babies that were born during the pandemic probably haven't had contact with humans, right? So or on screens only, right? And so we are going to change, and all these events change, and I definitely see it in 12 Months of Kai, because the story is very relatable. Again, like Sunil was saying, it's very universal, but the medium, the medium that it uses of Android and futuristic seeing, I think is also very relatable, especially in these times. So and you can see it definitely, and there's an extra layer of universal synchrony there, you know. So I wanted to ask you, we're towards the end of the Q&A. Unfortunately, I know we could keep talking and talking as much as we want, but we have to cut it in a few minutes. I wanted to ask you, we'll go first with you, Mutsumi, if there's any upcoming project that you're working on, something, feature film, short film. Is there any future project that you have right now?
Yeah, right now I'm making a documentary film for about young Japanese filmmakers.
Okay.
Because you know, Japanese filmmakers not good at go abroad. Yeah, you know, even, yeah, like me, and we are not good English speaker, and yeah,
Don't
so
your English is perfect.
I want to try to focus on the lots of issues about us. Yeah, about Japanese filmmakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I never would have thought of doing something interesting. And it's hard to do documentaries about film and documentaries about filmmakers.
Yeah.
that's challenging, and so it's interesting.
Yeah,
If
very
you
tough.
if you need any references of I know you probably know way more than we do, but the Japanese filmmakers that have come through this festival, if you, I mean, that's probably something to talk about later, but if you want, I'm fairly certain that they would love to talk to you about their experience as well. So after this, we can ask them if they would be interested in if it helps you, right? But that's aside from the subject, right? But just thinking. We had a Japanese filmmaker come from one of the first festivals, Takuya Fukushima, and he had his film here, and he talks about also how these challenges and Japanese filmmakers going abroad, and he traveled a lot. He was everywhere, and so I kind of understand what you're doing, and it's a very interesting subject. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sunil, Vinod, any upcoming projects that we want to keep our eyes out for?
Definitely.
Sunil had come up with another amazing story. So that I don't know, we might start off by next year. I was supposed to work on another project last year, but unfortunately, the situation is in India is pretty very sad. It was sad though, but now it is things are opening up. So the pandemic did hit us. So that project is there, and Sunil has come up with another amazing story. It is not with kids and animals this time. It is something different. So it's another challenging subject that he has come up with. So I'm looking forward, for the entire script that once he shares with me, and then we'll get into the filming part of it.
That's cool. And Sunil, so that's kind of like the project that you're also, is it if you don't mind me asking, is it a feature film as well?
Yeah, it's a feature film, but then we are touching upon a completely different genre. It's like kind of surprising the audience, and not to be happy with the success of one, but then come up with something, and then come up with something that is kind of unexpected from you. Like people kind of, they should not stereotype you that, oh, these like, oh, it's going to be children's film, so next time it's going to be like the same kind of thing. We are coming up with probably planning on something different.
That's pretty cool, and I think that expands not only like what we learn from how we make art and how we make movies, but also it's pretty cool to throw people off and
Right.
I know some filmmakers that have done drama all their lives, and then actually yesterday we had a filmmaker from Moldova that she'd done drama all her life, and then she submitted a comedy to the festival, and it's fantastic. So exploring different genres and different stories is always something very fun to do, I think, as an artist. So
we have one life.
Yeah,
I was saying, like, we have one life, so we should touch on all those emotions that a person has. I mean, if we get an opportunity.
Yeah, no, and I think that is something that I think film festivals and other venues like festivals do, where you get a chance to look at these movies. So I hope when you're done with your projects, you send them our way as well. They sound very interesting. We'd be very excited to have them in the festival and the upcoming festivals. Just to wrap up, we have a few minutes left. Is there anything else you want to comment on before we leave?
First of all, thanks to each and every one. Pepe, it was really nice interacting, talking. You've been fantastic. MacDale, for organizing such an amazing, beautiful event, even during these tough times. Though there was some postponement, and time doesn't matter, but yes, the event matters. And Ernest for his amazing communication and thoughts and organizing, getting things all together. And also Mutsumi joining us, and I wish her all the best for her future works, and also the beautiful festival, STXIFF. So South Texas has been fantastic. God bless you all.
We have about a minute more. Something else, Sunil and Mutsumi?
No, I really wanted to thank the festival, and then this surely keeps us motivated to continue with the creative work. So thank you, thanks to the team.
Mutsumi, anything else to add?
we have our hashtag on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, sharp 12 months of Kai. Yeah, so
Okay.
if you watch this film, let's tell us your reaction.
Thoughts? Yeah, we'll do for sure, and we'll be sure to post your handles and Twitters and everything else, hashtags, every information about the film. Please join us for the award ceremony, which will be in very soon. Thank you to Mutsumi, Sunil, and Vinod. Thank you very much, all of you, for submitting your films. It was fantastic meeting you and fantastic watching your films. And to the audience, thank you for watching as well. And that would be it for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.